Welcome to the South River Mayor and Borough Council meeting of April the 12th. We are going to have a notice first of that this meeting is legal. Mr. Bray.
In compliance with Chapter 231 of Public Laws 1975, notice of this meeting was given by way of annual notice filed with the Borough Clerk, the Home News Tribune, and the Sentinel post on the bulletin board in the Borough of South River Municipal Building. Be it further advised that the Mayor and Council of the Borough of South River will hold its regular meeting on Monday, April 12th, 2021 at 7 p.m. via online video conference provided by Zoom pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-8B. This meeting will be held by means of use of electronic communications equipment due to the COVID-19 pandemic. No members of the public shall be permitted to physically attend the meeting. Public, however, is invited to attend the meeting electronically. The Mayor and Council will take formal action at this meeting. The Borough is using this format in an effort to mitigate the chance of exposure to COVID-19 as part of the Borough's ongoing efforts to slow the rate of transmission, avoid overwhelming our treatment centers. This action will be enforced for all existing regular meetings until otherwise notified by public notice.
Thank you for the notice of publication. Mr. Bray, please do the roll call.
Mayor Krenzel.
Here.
Councilwoman Ballas.
Here.
Councilman Segula.
Here.
Councilman Gindi.
Here.
Councilman Krasinski.
Here.
Councilwoman Mara.
Here.
Council President Eppinger.
Here.
Thank you. Let us have the salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I ask that you have a moment of silence and in your thoughts and prayers that you remember the passing of three men who dedicated many, many years to our town. John Scala, who passed away at the age of 93. He served on the zoning board and various committees, and of course, everybody knew him from his attendance at the meetings. Charlie Mangelli, who drove our Office on Aging bus, but did so much more than just that. How he volunteered and dedicated his time above and beyond just his work. And Frank DeMonico, who served for some 50 years on the zoning board and a good half of that time as the chair. All three passed away within a week of each other. So I ask that you remember them in your thoughts and prayers. Thank you. Moving on to the agenda, we have first a proclamation. It is National Public Safety Telecommunicator Week. So I will read that. Whereas emergencies can occur at any time that require police, fire, or emergency medical services, and whereas when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of police officers, firefighters, and emergency medical service technicians are critical to the protection of life and preservation of property. And whereas the safety of our police officers, firefighters, and emergency medical service technicians are dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who telephone the South River Police Department's Communications Center. And whereas public safety telecommunicators are the first and most critical contact our citizens have with emergency services, and whereas public safety telecommunicators are the single vital link for our police officers, firefighters, and emergency medical service technicians by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them information, and ensuring their safety. And whereas public safety telecommunicators of South River have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and treatment of patients, and whereas each dispatcher has exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of their job in the past year, now, therefore, I, John M. Krenzel, Mayor, along with the members of the Council of the Borough of South River, do hereby proclaim April 11th through 17th of 2021 to be National Public Safety Telecommunicator Week in honor of the men and women whose diligence and professionalism keep our borough and citizens safe. Given under my hand and seal in the Borough of South River, this 12th day of April, 2021. And I'm sure the chief will speak a little bit more about the good work that these men and women do. It is not an easy task, especially when all hell is breaking loose with a fire or something happening in town. They are on it and handling everything in a very professional manner, and we thank them for their service. There is no executive session today, but there is no, excuse me, I'm having difficulty reading today. There's no executive session, but there is agenda session, handicap parking space on Livingston Avenue. And that is about what, Mr. Bray?
That is reference to the ordinance, which is under first reading. There's a memo in the packet from the police department speaking to the need for that handicap parking spot.
Okay. So, does anyone have any questions about that? Because there is no second reading. So we'll go right to the first reading by title only of this ordinance, Mr. Bray.
Ordinance 2021-4, an ordinance to amend the code of the Borough of South River, Chapter 193, entitled Vehicles and Traffic by amending Section 193-31.1, Schedule 2A, handicap parking thereof.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the council pass ordinance 2021-4 on its first reading by title only. The clerk be authorized to publish same as required by law, with a second reading and public hearing to be held at a meeting on May 3rd, 2021 at 7 p.m. by ways of electronic teleconference or in the council chambers of the Criminal Justice Building at 61 Main Street in South River, New Jersey.
I'll second that.
Motion has been made by Mr. Eppinger, seconded by Mr. Gindi. Roll call.
Councilwoman Ballas?
Yes.
Councilman Seula?
yes,
Councilman Gindi?
Yes.
Councilman Gertenski?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mara?
Yes.
Council President Eppinger?
Yes.
Thank you. We will revisit that at our next meeting. Our professional reports, as we traditionally do, beginning with Mr. Koch.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and good evening to everyone. The Alborn Street project, including the 2019 curb and sidewalk program, is complete, and we are working on the final closeout payment for that. Well, number 2 in my report, I say we're trying to get more information from the contractor. Between the time that I composed it and now, the contractor has indicated that they will be mobilizing equipment to the site between April 22nd and April 28th. So Age, if you would just make a note of that for yourself, that this stuff's going to be coming in, and we'll have to figure out where they're going to put it so they can work and not be in your way, okay? The next item is the local aid programs, the 2020 grant. We are working on that. The 2021 grant, we have submitted a proposal for that, and we're just waiting for your authorization. The electrical substation maintenance, we issued the contracts and the notice of award to High Energy Electrical Testing, and we're waiting for them to return those to us so we can process them to the borough for signature. Then we will conduct a pre-construction meeting. And the U.S. Department of Energy, the 2020 electrical utility audit, our staff, electrical department staff, has been working on that. They advised me that there's some sort of an entry error with the system that they're supposed to load into. They had somebody call in the information today, and they're hoping that within the next week that system is up and whatever the glitches is corrected. But they are trying to get the information in before the deadline. Like I said, they tried calling in to do it. So I will check with them on that with them tomorrow, as I was out of the office on business this afternoon. And that is it. I will answer any questions you might have.
Any questions?
Mr. Mayor, not a question, but a comment, just to let everybody know. I've reached out to Mr. Koch. I've talked to him, and I've also talked to Mr. Zanga about the possibility of, once we pass our budget at our next meeting, would it be feasible, possible to do both of the road program, last year's road program and this year? Normally there's a time lag. If we move after we pass the budget in a relatively quick amount of time, which there's no reason we shouldn't, we know what streets we're going to do for this year as well as last year, we can go out and do both of them at the same time with the, we'll have to have certain amounts of money down and stuff like that. But that's our goal, to try to get, obviously everybody knows the conditions of the roads, and the winter this had made some some of the ones on our list even worse. And that's the goal. We'll keep everybody informed as to whether it can be done, but what we'd like to try to do that is to get both road programs that Mr. Koch mentioned tonight done this year.
May I speak to that as well, please?
Sure.
I was looking on the borough website, and I'm just mentioning this because the curb and sidewalk program would then become part of all of this. I noticed there's a posting for that. I'm assuming that's for the upcoming one with a July 15th date, I think I recall. If, just something to keep in mind that we're going to need all of that information at the same time. So if that is in fact the cutoff date, we should make that a firm date so we can get it all together and compiled together and get it out to bid and get it built, towards the, in the fall, early fall, hopefully. That was all I wanted to mention, all right?
Thank you.
That was
sir.
actually going to be my question for you, Mr. Koch, is if we incorporate that, can it be all done together? Because I know we've been discussing it. I know we still have people held over from the previous, application that didn't get their curb and sidewalk done. If we're gonna put this all together, but if we don't put it all together and we do it in two parts, the state aid program, all those streets, can we do the streets that we already, the curb and sidewalks that we already have, that people already applied for, and leave the second batch to the other roads? Is that a possibility?
We could if we were splitting them up, but if we're combining them, as the council president has suggested, then they would all become one. So it's a matter of how you as a governing body would like to proceed. The answer is yes. If they were split up, could we take the waiting list and put that into the system now? Yes, we could, absolutely. But if you're going to combine the two and put them out concur as one contract, then the curb and sidewalk would have a firm cutoff date, because we have to review them, get the sketches together, float it past the people, get them to tell you yes or no, or at least put it into the bid documents and then show them the numbers once we receive bids and find out who would like to remain in the program and who might like to drop out. So
Do we know how many we already have? Does anybody have that information of the curb and sidewalk program?
I would know.
I think there's only a few applications on file in the administrator's office. There's not that many as of right now.
my
Okay.
recollection is, if I may, my recollection is when we had some people withdraw from the program, the last one, we went to the waiting list and plugged in a number of people. That was Mr. Wandensky's suggestion, and that is what we did. So that may be the reason why the waiting list is not that significant at this time.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
'cause the thought would be, the more, not only for the getting the better bid for the more roads, we'll probably get a better price if we can get and that would also help anybody who wants to take advantage of the curb and sidewalk program. Maybe we could, maybe a couple dollars here and there, but it may be able to help them as well.
And it
correct.
pays to have everything done at one time too. It doesn't, if we're gonna pave the roads, definitely have everything else done.
Well, Mr. Koch, do you suggest making, opening up the curb and sidewalk program to be closed sooner? Like July 1st or June 15th? Like, what are your suggestions if we're gonna do it all at once?
I was really first questioning whether that is in fact the current program, and is that the established cutoff date, or is that still posted from the last one? So I don't know if Mr. Bray's in a position to answer that, or, but that was a question when I saw it. I said, I'm not sure if it's one or the other. So why don't we chat about that, and between now and the next meeting, we can figure out how this might roll out with the bond ordinance and then the estoppel period. I can kind of calendar that stuff and then see where it might put you, and perhaps moving it up even to the end of June might be more helpful then.
Okay, good.
Good, thank you.
Thanks, Bruce.
Any other questions I might answer?
Just one. Everybody who was on the 2020 list, were they completed? Were they finished?
That work is done now, sir, yes.
Okay. All right. So now we're going on to the new list. Very good.
Sure.
Anything else? Anyone else? No? Thank you, Bruce. Have a good night.
And good night to everybody. Thank
Take
you.
care, Bruce.
You too.
Good night, Bruce. Good night, Bruce.
Mr. Zanga?
Nothing to report, Mayor.
Okay, very good then. Mr. Soares?
Yes, Mayor. The only thing I have is that we're still out there doing the potholes, so if you have a pothole, we will get to it. The weather hasn't been, cooperating, but we will get to your pothole. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, very good. Chief? Chief of Police, how are you, sir?
I'm good, Mayor. How are you?
Okay, good, good. Anything to report?
Yeah, the only thing I have, I actually have two items for the agenda tonight. One is a consent resolution to authorize MOU for the MCPO. That is the authorization to allow us to borrow and utilize some of the investigative equipment. That's the only way I can describe it from the prosecutor's office. I can't really go too much into what that equipment entails. And the second thing, like you said, thank you and the rest of the Borough Council for recognizing this week as a National Public Safety Telecommunicator Week. It is always recognized on the second week of April. Our dispatchers, as they're known, not only dispatch for the police officers, but they dispatch for fire, dispatch for EMS, the DPW, electric utility. They're that voice on the other side of the phone when you call for an emergency, whether it's through the 238-1000 number or through 911. They're certified in emergency medical dispatch, and they're often forgotten because you only hear a voice, but you never see a face. So thank you again for recognizing them for all their hard work and dedication. And if you follow our Facebook page throughout the entire week, we're going to be displaying each dispatcher that we have, the 7 that we have now, and then eventually in the next council meeting, we'll be looking to appoint an 8th one. So again, Mayor, thank you for doing that. And that's all I have to report.
Very good. Mr. Bray, anything to report from the clerk's position?
Yes, just two things rather quickly. First, there's a typo in the minutes that was brought to my attention. So I do apologize. I misspelled Mayor's last name, and that has been corrected.
That's not good.
I'm glad someone's reading the minutes. And then also the mayor appointed 3 members to the Environmental Commission / Shade Tree Advisory Board. All the appointments were made on April 9th. And I excuse myself if I murder the pronunciations, but it is Sergio Labrego, and that term will run through December 31st, 2022. Bill Solonowski, his term will run through December 31st, 2023. And Sherry Garrettson, her term will run through December 31st, 2021. And then lastly, the work is underway for our primary election. We've had our filing deadline, and that paperwork has been sent off to the county. And that's it.
Very good. Ms. Wyatt, anything to report from the legal side?
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Excellent. Mr. Lundensky?
Nothing at this time, Mayor.
Okay. Let us proceed with our reports. The governing body. We'll just go in alphabetical order today. We'll start with Mrs. Ballas.
Yeah, I just have one. There's going to be free COVID testing again for the entire community this Wednesday, April 14th, from 1 to 7 p.m. at the middle school cafetorium. And also school did get back in session today with their 2 on, 1 off, 2 on. I am under the impression that 2 weeks from today will start their full week. Just keep track of the website on the Board of Ed. That's it.
Thank you. Mr. Ciula?
Thank you, Mayor. The Environmental Committee, we will be meeting this Thursday via Zoom. Congratulations to the newly appointed members. I'll be getting an email out to them with the Zoom meeting once I receive all of that from the RBA. And next Monday will be the EDC meeting with all the new members on that. That'll be also via Zoom, and I'll be having that emailed out to all of those members. as the mayor had stated, we lost three very involved people in the last 2 weeks in town here. Mr. Scala, Mr. Mongelli, and Mr. DeMonico. And what these men have done for the borough over the years is far beyond imagination. So again, I just want to extend my condolences out to the families. They will be greatly missed. They've done a phenomenal job here in town. So just want to pass that on. And that's it for right now, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Mr. Gindi.
Thank you. Our next planning board meeting will be on April 20th, and the next zoning board meeting will be the following Tuesday. If you have any questions or you'd like to get information to Zoom in, please reach out to our secretary. She is working diligently to make it happen for us. For Parks and Rec, they are back and running, and there's lots of programs going on, and they're still coming up with more as we go. One of the ones that we're going to be deploying is going to be the Zumba Class, which is going to be on May 3rd, 10th, 17th, and the 24th. And there's more in June, more in July. Please fill out the information. If you're interested, go onto the website. I know Lakeisha is working very well with most of these programs and all these programs. I know Jason has been also helping out, Jason Oliver. Our upcoming events for the late spring of sports are going to follow T-ball, baseball clinic, softball clinic, and even a soccer clinic. So come out, like I said, if you're interested. I know all these kids are coming out of school soon, so you might want to be interested in getting them enrolled in these. Summer recreation will be taking off on July 12th through the 13th. You have to be a South River resident. The times are going to be between 9 and 12. The location is going to be announced. I will be announcing it as we go through our council meetings for the weeks to come. Also, if you have a South River high school student that is interested in extra work throughout the year, throughout the summer to help out with the Parks and Rec, they are going to be interviewing on Monday, July 12th, which is a Friday, as well as August 13th. So feel free to, once again, get on the internet, Zoom in, do whatever you got to do to locate Lakeisha Thomas. She will help you with the interview as well as the application process. And our last and final, which is going to be the fishing derby, June 5th. It's going to be held at Gorkowski Park as well as Bizet's Pond. The times are going to be between 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., all ages. So once again, feel free to log in and get yourself registered as soon as you can. That's all I have.
Thank you. Councilwoman Mara.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to say that the Human Relations Commission met last Tuesday. We've started discussing having our flag raisings. Soon the applications will be on our borough website to be able to file and get a flag raising for your community. My Board of Health meeting has not met yet. They will be meeting April 20th, so I don't have anything to discuss regarding them. Human Relations would also like to mention that they would like to help anybody assist in being able to go on or to the Office on Aging, if anybody needs any assistance, to be able to apply to the Office on Aging, whether it's lack of understanding how to do it or they need assistance there. The Human Relations discusses a lot about the diversity in town, and some people need the assistance in speaking English. So that is something that the Human Relations Commission is excited to help out for. And we will also be doing some outreach with the high school community. We want to get the high school students more involved in any of our activities for this year. So if you are interested, or if you know a high school student that needs community service or is interested in helping with the diversity and the minorities in our town, please don't hesitate to reach out to me or to show up at our next meeting, which will be Zoom on May 4th. That's all I have for now, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, and as G still comes before M, we'll go back to Mr. Kurczynski. I'm sorry, Jimmy, I went alphabetical order and jumped over you.
Thank you, Mayor. As I say now, our DPW, they're out there working on our streets and everything as best as they can. Unfortunately, the weather isn't quite cooperating with us. There are quite a few potholes out there notwithstanding, and they are addressing them as best as they possibly can, and also cleaning our streets and our parks and getting things ready for the warmer months. Of course, our grass is starting to grow and everything, and we ask that you pay attention to some of the recycling rules and everything like that too that are posted in the Borough website and also on the Borough calendar. With that, also, I'd like to thank the Office on Aging for their implementation of a lot of the seniors as far as the COVID vaccinations went, and anything else too. Please feel free to contact them. They do an awful lot for our senior community. And also my condolences to the families of the members that we've lost in our community. Actually, over this past year, there have been quite a few, and because of the pandemic, of course, we have very limited social contact with each other and everything, but it's unfortunate that we are missing a great amount of our community. With that, I thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And to the man who is always in a special position there, Mr. Eppinger.
I don't know how to take that tonight, Mr. Mayor, but I think I'm going to say thank you. Thank you, sir. I have nothing at this time for tonight's meeting. I'll just put everybody on notice that over the last week or so, the mayor and I have met with the borough attorney. We meet constantly with Mr. Zanga and obviously with our borough administrator, Mr. Lendunsky. Laundry list of things coming. This is a slow meeting this week. The May 3rd meeting and going forward, we're going to have a number of things that we're going to be talking about that are going to involve some ordinance changes. I know the mayor's talked. One of the ones I'm just going to give you, I know, pardon the pun, a highlight is we're going to have to take, as the borough attorney has reminded us, and so has the mayor, that we're going to have to take action on a cannabis ordinance in town about what we're going to allow and not allow. That we have to have on the books by, I believe it's August 21st. That's just one of the many items that we're going to have to be addressing. We're within the next meeting or two, ordinances and such, and positions and things of that matter. A couple other things that are going on with the commercial vehicle ordinance has not gone away. That will definitely be introduced on the 3rd. But again, I really don't have anything really much else to say tonight, other than, again, to echo what Mr. Sula and Mr. Kurczynski said about we lost 3 titans in this town, gentlemen who've given a lot of their time and effort to making this a better place, and their condolences to all 3 of their families. It's always sad when people of that stature pass, and we thank them for their service, and we always remember what they've done for the borough, in not just the borough itself, but like, in Mr. DeMonico's case, you've got the Imperial Music Center and Corpus Christi Church, and John Scala with the veterans and things like that. And like was mentioned that Charlie, while he was, he did so much for the seniors and everybody else in town, that all 3 of them are going to be just are greatly missed. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. I have nothing to report, so we will continue with the agenda to public comments. At this point, you can either raise your hand through Zoom or raise it that way. Mr. Bray will recognize you. You have 10 minutes to make any comments on matters great and small, or ask questions. And please give your name and address. And we'll just wait a moment while you can click in on first call, second call.
Wait, we do have someone.
Okay, very good.
Danielle Oswald.
Hi, yes, Danielle Oswald, 16 Garwood Street. I'm here tonight to talk about the South River Foundation for Educational Excellence. As you may or may not know, we're a nonprofit organization run by volunteer members in the town, and we would appreciate to have more members join our group efforts for our mission. And any donations of skills, time, and/or money would be greatly appreciated. To date, we have awarded 18 graduating seniors a total of $2,300 in scholarships. We have awarded 29 teachers and countless students in over $10,000 in mini grant funding. And we have designated Friday, April 30th, 2021 as the first annual Srp Day of Giving. Previously, we had done adult dinner dances. We have done them for the last 5 years. I believe Mayor Krenzel was honored at our third dinner dance as a community member that supports our organization. And so in lieu of the fact that we couldn't do that, we were trying to come up with a way to still raise funds for this organization. So during the week of Monday, April 26th through Friday, April 30th, we will be having a virtual walk down memory lane to revisit all of the activities that have allowed us to support the school district over the past 6 years. So during the week leading up to the Day of Giving, we ask that you visit the website and our Facebook or Instagram pages for snippets of fun and the faces and the funding that has taken place. So we do have a goal. We have a goal to have $5 per student in our district be donated. It does not have to be donated through their families. That's our overall big goal, is for $5 per student to be donated to SRP so we can continue with our mini grants and with our scholarship awards that we do. So our goal is to make this an annual event on the last Friday in the month of April, and more will be coming soon. And I have a flyer if I would be so kind as to share that with the town. That would be great.
Send that over to Mr. Bray.
Okay.
Okay. Thank
And
you.
I can share the website in the chat if that's okay.
If you have the website, you can give it now, please.
It's srfe.org, srfee.org.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? On first call, second call, third call.
Motion to close?
Second.
Motion has been made by Mr. Gindi, seconded by Mr. Seula to close public portion. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? The ayes have it. Moving on to the agenda, we now come to the mayoral appointments, which we've talked about, and the consent resolutions. Mr. Bray?
Whereas Resolution 2020-01 authorizes the Borough Council to utilize consent agenda to adopt various resolutions of a routine, non-controversial nature at one time. Now therefore be it and is hereby resolved that the below listed resolutions are hereby adopted by Borough Council and holds that same where individually acts upon. 118, appoint Deputy Court Administrator. 119, approve transfer of plenary retail distribution license. 120, authorize memorandum of understanding with Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office. 121, approve South River Board of Education May 2021 requisition for taxes. 122, approve stipend for Planning Board Secretary. 123, approve stipend for Zoning Board Secretary. 124, approve shared service agreement with Middlesex County Clean Communities. 125, approve March 22nd, 2021 minutes. 126, approve utility consumer refunds. 127, approve bills.
Okay. Your pleasure on the
Mr.
resolution.
Mayor, approve the consent resolution as read.
Second.
Motion has been made by Mr. Eppinger, seconded by Mrs. Ballas to approve the consent resolutions. Roll call.
Councilwoman Ballas?
Yes.
Councilman Seula?
Yes, with the following extensions, 20-03141, 20-03125, 20-02290, 21-00551, 21-00062, 21-00603, 21-00823, and 21-00592.
So noted. Councilman Gindi?
yes, but to the abstentions for consent number 127, it would be 20-03141, 02290, 03125, and then 21-00551, 00592, 00823, 00603, and 00062.
So noted. Councilman Krasinski,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mara,
Yes.
Council President Eppinger.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you all. Continuing with the agenda, there is no new business, so therefore we come to the governing body's comments for the good and welfare of the borough. We will start reverse this time. I'll try to get it properly. We'll start with Councilwoman Mara.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know Mr. Londensky didn't have any comments today, but I did have some questions that I wanted to ask that I guess I waited for my time here. I know I had reached out regarding TV 35. A resident had reached out to me because I'm the liaison, that there is an announcement running on TV 35 that we are still not accepting any building permits or CCOs. I know this was probably something that was posted in the beginning of the pandemic. Would it be safe to say that we can remove this from our borough page, or is that still what we are following? Do people not have to do their CCOs and their building permits?
No, that's not correct. They do have to do their CCOs and their building permits, and I have conversation with Mr. Cuccio to take care of it.
Okay. My other thing was, I know we're rearing the 1-year anniversary that we lost Mr. Lawrenson. I do want to know where we are with the status of a construction code official. I know you have been doing the work. I also know that you also have not been getting paid for the work that you do for the construction code official. I know it's taking time to get somebody, but are we not all, on the same boat that if he's doing the work, he should at least get a stipend for the work that he's doing with the construction official? Anyone?
Well, first, where do we stand, Mr. Londensky?
We have placed an advertisement in the New Jersey League of Municipalities website last week. As soon as I did that, I've already gotten 2 applications. We will give it a couple of weeks and then start taking interviews. See if there is someone that can take the job at a salary that we can afford.
Okay, and my other question was 48 Washington Street. Do we have a date, or do we all have an idea of when we will be opening that building for the public? I know Milltown started. I know not too many other towns have, but just to get an idea, because people have been asking me when we would be opening.
If you're asking that to me, I don't have a date. We're waiting for guidance from the governor, and when that comes, we will open. We are still concerned about having the public come into the building and cause us to have to quarantine our staff. It seems to be working all right. Everybody using the drop box. We do at times leave something outside for someone to pick up if they need it. And as soon as the government makes it clear that it is safe, we will open like we normally did.
Okay, thank you. First, I'd like to piggyback on everybody on the condolences that everybody's been giving. I know Mr. DeMonico, Mr. Scallon, Mr. Mangelli did do a lot for our town. I'd also like to recognize the passing of our Deputy County Commissioner, Ken Armwood, who passed suddenly before, I believe, shortly in the beginning of this month. So my condolences as well to them. And I'm sure the county is hurting right now for the loss of our deputy county commissioner. I'd like to congratulate all the kids programs that are moving forward for the springtime. I know we've been pushing for our Parks and Rec to do stuff, and other programs in town like the South River Little League and the South River Future Starts have been going forward, and I'm glad to see that kids are finally getting out and playing. I know it's keeping the children busy. We had spring break this past week, and a lot of kids have been out enjoying our parks and starting to get a breath of fresh air out there. So hopefully that continues to go. I'm hoping that going forward towards the summer, we will have our Parks and Rec department ready to go. I know a lot of people have been excited, and I'm glad Mr. Gindi brought up the programs that will be starting. We have a few vacant spots on our advisory committee of persons with disability. I requested the list of people that we do have from our clerk, and I did see we have 2 vacancies. So if anybody is interested in being on that advisory committee, please reach out to me. I am still waiting for the president to start their first meeting with that. I'm also happy that our EDC and our Shade Tree is starting to have their first meetings. I was curious as to, I know we merged everything together and now there is no green team. I was curious to know as how we would be doing sustainable Jersey if we don't have a green team. I know that is one of the requirements. I don't know if we're not doing sustainable Jersey anymore, but that was just a question I had for you guys going forward, but I can wait until your council comments. It's not a problem. Mr. Mayor, I did see you had your mayoral appointments. I do want to say I'm very glad that we are appointing people, but I do want you to know that one of the appointed people that you put today had no idea they were being appointed today. So I don't know who you reached out to, but Mr. Labrego had no idea that he was actually being appointed to this commission. I don't know if you were just grabbing them because he was on the green team before, but I would say going forward, if you can, please reach out to see if they were going, but I'm sure he will be excited to be on a commission. He was very involved with Green Team. Last but not least, we are getting to the end of April, and I'm sure that all these gardeners from the community garden are eager to start prepping for their community garden. I know I reached out in an email this week. I know I realized that what was said was that we are supporting the garden, but I'd like to know how we are moving forward with the garden. I mean, in order, and as some of you do know, in order to get the garden going, we should be starting now. And I know a lot of the members that were in the community garden know what they're doing. They're eager to start. They just need the go ahead from us. And I'm thinking that's the borough and council. So please, if anybody can give us an idea as to what we are going to do, planting starts now, and I'm sure everyone is eager to get out there. So that's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gruchensky.
Thank you, Mayor. First off, I'd like to thank all of our public service workers, our police, fire, and Robert Wood Johnson for taking care of our community, our DPW for taking care of our parks, and doing the necessary services that we rely on them to do, and amongst other things, taking care of the town and just lights, the road conditions, and anything else in general. With that, I have one thing to mention about the DPW too, is our water department has done extensive amount of repairs. And of course, over the past year, we haven't had any hydrant flushing. And this is going to be an upcoming issue. And what we're going to do is there's a different plan to do it more vigorously. There's going to be notification out there. And just to let the residents, to forewarn them that we are going to be doing a very vigorous type of flushing this year, as far as all of our water system goes. There will be a lot of sediment disrupted, and there's going to be a lot of water. Hopefully, we're going to do it on off hours when no one is when it'll be least negligible to the public. And also, it'll be probably notified in your electric bill, so that you are well aware of what it's going to be done. So avoid doing laundry or cooking or doing anything like that. In the meantime, when it's actually over, you could test your water by either flushing the water closet in your bathroom, running the bathtub water, or a laundry sink. Anything that doesn't have a strainer or a water restricting device on it. Please do not operate your hot water at this particular time, because if there is any residue, it will accumulate in your hot water heater, and it's not a good thing. With that, I think that's pretty much all I have to say right now, Mayor. I thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gindi.
Thank you. First off, I'd like to thank the dispatchers. I know this is National Public Safety Telecommunication Week, but for those that don't know, the voices behind your 238-1000 or your 911 is Adam D. Haynes, Marianne Koss, Kevin Mayers, Maggie Sish, Danielle Gunderson, Sarah Orsteely, and Kaylin Hugley. Hopefully I pronounced that. I want to thank you for a great job that you have been doing for this town. I wish you the best. Keep up the good job. I also want to give out my condolences to Mr. Scala and Mr. DeMonico. Both of them have served for this town in tremendous ways. One of the boards were the zoning board, and they'll be sorely missed. Mr. Mongelli, which did a phenomenal job driving for the Office of Aging, will shortly be missed as well. On to something else that I have been working on that is going to be coming to South River on April 20th. We are getting vaccinations. If you are interested, feel free to go onto the South River's website, along with the Parks and Rec, along with the Board of Health, as well as the Office of Aging. They will have the QR codes and the registrations on how to get on. April 20th is a Tuesday. It's going to be held at the 80 David Street, which is the St. Mary's Coptic School. It's going to be in the back of the building, downstairs in the cafeteria, which is located on Morningside. This is something that I urge you to consider doing. The more people in this town that get vaccinated, the faster we could open up. So I urge you, remember, Tuesday, April 20th, you'll have all the information posted tomorrow on all three of these boards, along with the South River website. I thank you.
That is good news. Thank you, Mr. Gindi, for moving that forward. Mr. Ciola.
Thank you, Mayor. Our bulk pickups and our trash, bulk trash, please call, make your appointments. Do not put anything onto the curb until the night before your scheduled pickup. We've been having a lot of problems in town. Residents are complaining that there is bulk garbage stacked outside on the curbs for days on end, and they don't have an appointment for a pickup. Please call the DPW, schedule a pickup, and do not put it out until the night before. This way it'll alleviate any problems that the neighbors have, and you won't be violating any ordinances that we have in town. As far as our electric department, everything is going well. They've ran some new secondary lines on the Leonard Dean Avenue and Burton Avenue area. The substation maintenance will be starting soon. So that's all going to be happening. You're going to see a lot of work going on down there. As Mr. Kuczynski said, the water department, we are going to start flushing hydrants. So please be aware of your time frames. You'll get notified, and just to make sure everybody knows when it's going to start happening. To answer Councilwoman Mira's question, the recommendation for the environmental committee was given to me by a former member that they were talking to, and they shared interest on being appointed. That's where that came from, and I handed it over to the mayor. So that's taken care As far as your green team, the green team, shade tree, and environmental are all incorporated into one committee. So no, not everybody's all over the place because, excuse me, the lack of volunteers that we have in town is very minimal. So to put everything under one team seems to be the logical answer for that. So everything's under one now. And lastly, I just want to send out a congratulations to Council President Eppinger and his lovely wife for their 35th wedding anniversary.
Where
Congratulations.
else would I rather spend my 35th wedding anniversary than with you guys?
But congratulations
Thank
to you and
you.
Monica.
Thank you, Tom.
Very good then. Mrs. Ballas?
My first item would have to do with recycling. I know the rule is you're not supposed to put your recycling out in the clear plastic bags. That's what we were told by Solterre. Am I correct? Is Age still here? Okay. Well, people are still putting it out in plastic clear bags, but some are getting picked up and some are not. I have seen houses skipped. Why they pick and choose, I don't know. If it's a rule, it should be a rule for all. I have followed, mind you, I have followed their truck one day and I actually saw them go up my street, picked up, no, not one thing in a clear plastic bag, went around the corner, went down the other street and picked up everyone who had a plastic bag put out. If it's gonna be a rule, it should be a rule and they should not be able to pick and choose who they're gonna pick up from. Okay, I don't know if we have to look into that again. Stores are putting their stuff out in clear plastic bags. That doesn't seem to be a problem. They're getting picked up. But the house right next door, not getting picked up. So I don't know what they judge, what day they feel like doing it and one day they don't feel like doing it. So it's becoming a problem for certain parts of town, not all, just I guess it depends on the crew. To the Mongelli family, the Scala family, and the Monaco family, my sincere condolences. All these three men serve this town with dignity and pride, and they will sorely, sorely be missed. To Ray and Monica, happy 35th anniversary. I saw how you spent your day over the weekend. You look like you were having a good time, and many, many more.
Thank you, Donna.
For everybody out there, stay safe, be healthy. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. And what's really going to be good is when celebrating their 35th wedding anniversary, and he's going to be away and still attend the meeting. That's.
I have not made that promise yet. No.
Yes, Mr. Eppinger.
Well, thank you. Well, I want to thank you guys for the kind words. Yes. It was 35 years ago today. Poor Monica. It was a cold, snowy day in South River, and but yeah, 35 years later, and to your, I just wanted to make a comment to thank Monica for the carpetbagger that she is. She's only been here 35 years or 37 years in South River, so that's she's only a part timer. It's been hard to believe it's 35 years, and I thank her because this isn't the first meeting, first anniversary or birthday or some other event that between school board meetings many moons ago and councilman and mayor and all that kind of stuff that your family does very important that they support you, and she's always been my #1 supporter, and I look forward to again 35 more. Although I don't know, she'd be out on parole by now if she had a good lawyer, John. I'm a little baffled by the comment on the garden. There's a valid lease in place. We've gone back and forth. I'm not quite sure what the borough is supposed to be doing per se. We've put Age on notice that if anybody needs anything, there was an email exchange earlier in the year that I had. I'm not going to bring up people's names, but as long as the guidelines of the state and the CDC are being followed, I'm not quite sure why things can't be done now. I don't think there's anything that the borough needs to do. The lease, there's a valid, one of the things that we did is we put a valid lease in place so the property certainly can be used by the members of the community garden and whoever want to plant and get in there. So there's nothing that I'm aware of Art or Andrea, that from the borough's perspective, that we need to do. The community garden and their the folks who work on it are certainly, if they, as long as they're following the you know, the guidelines, I don't think there's anything that needs to be done by us. I mean, and again, Age and his team are at the ready if there's anything that they need that the DPW department can help. So Julie, please let them have at it. That'd be fine. You know, there's nothing holding them back from the borough's perspective. I mentioned the passing of the three gentlemen and good friends, actually, of all three of them at the earlier. The last thing I have today, as I just wanted to I want to thank, many of you know Pat Barra, very active in the town for many years on the Rec Commission and the Frost and the Pumpkin race many years ago, and also very active in Corpus Christi. Wanted me to remind everybody, wanted me to say that on the 9th of April, International Space Station Expedition 6465 sent up an astronaut for the second time, his second tour of space. Retired Colonel Mark Vandehei is doing his second tour in space. And the reason why this is something we want to think of in South River, Colonel Vandehei is a 1981 graduate of South River's former Corpus Christi School. Was a member here, and come to find out, talk about 6 degrees and mentioning Monica today, he is also a 1985 high school graduate of Benilde St. Margaret's High School, which happens to be the high school that Monica graduated in Minneapolis. In fact, her sister Eileen graduated in the same class. So somebody, somebody from South who has spent some time in South River is up there now. He launched successfully on the 9th of April, and we wish the Colonel Godspeed, good luck, and again, I was going to say something about space cadets in South River, but I guess would that be appropriate, Mr. Mayor? I'm not sure. Okay. But all the best and congratulations to the Colonel, and keep everybody. I know Mrs. Barrett, and I think she's right. We keep them in our thoughts and prayers. I mean, sometimes we take it for granted that there's, that space exploration continues, and that I think he's going to be up there for several months. So keep him in your thoughts and prayers. And again, a South River, someone who spent some time in the river, is orbiting the Earth as we speak. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Next time you go by over South River, look up.
Wave, yeah.
So, Mrs. Ballas, I would suggest that you give the MCIA a call. They're in charge. Get a message over there and complain. But coming from a councilwoman, that will mean a lot. So you can get the number from Mr. Lundensky.
I have the number. I have called.
Okay, then call again.
Okay.
All right, then. I received a letter that was sent to Kim Bell at the Office on Aging from Tom Domenecki, in which he was stating that he received his second vaccination, and that how he had signed up early in February for the vaccination. And then he was informed that the South River Office on Aging had a program, and he was informed that dates were available for the vaccination. After having read and heard reports of such dissatisfaction on the vaccination rollout, I was ecstatic with the ready availability of the vaccine through the efforts of the South River Office on Aging. This to me means that someone in the South River Office on Aging realized that many of our South River seniors lacked the computer skills to navigate the internet and made the necessary arrangements for the delivery of the COVID-19 vaccine for the vaccinating our seniors. So I commend the staff of the South River Office on Aging for their initiative in starting this program, the coordination with the vaccine supplier, and the supervision on site to ensure the smooth functioning of the vaccination program. Thank you for a program well done. And indeed, it was well done. 268 people were vaccinated through the program. Special thanks to Riverside Urgent Care, especially Deidre and Aaron, who were out there giving out the shots there. It was a lot of hard work, a lot of organizing on the Office on Aging, and we thank them. And we definitely have improved our number of vaccines that the people have received. And I do urge you, I know it's a pain in the neck, but I urge you to get vaccinated. And you heard Mr. Gindi speak about that, that there is going to be a program for that. Jump on it. It's worthwhile becoming vaccinated. Can you get sick? Yes. And as far as I know, I've been the sickest that I've known of anybody that has gotten it. I got my second vaccinated shot and I ran a temperature and I felt achy and I felt lousy, but within 24 hours, it dissipates. It is worthwhile. So protect yourself, and in the meantime, still wear your mask, social distance yourself, but use common sense. We are vaccinated for many different types of problems, different diseases. This is one that we have a vaccine and we should use. And if you're interested in getting tested, not vaccinated, tested, there's another community testing day for COVID, Wednesday, April 14th from 1 to 7 at the middle school cafeteria. It went out as a nixle and through the school district's messaging system. So look out for that. And if you want to get tested, you can get tested. And there's instructions as to how exactly to do all of that. And I will remind you, and you'll be reminded many, many different times, because somehow or other people in South River don't seem to always catch the message. We are going to be flushing our hydrants for the first time in a long time, and it's going to be done in a different way. Because it's going to be done in a different way, it's going to shake up the system. So be smart, be on guard. Don't wash your clothes. Think, when are you going to have it in your area, and be prepared for that. Okay, so we're just going to keep warning you about that. To our Muslim brothers and sisters, happy and blessed Ramadan. They're beginning their month of fasting and prayers and giving. Last thing, if Bill Bray, if you could stay online just as everybody goes off, I need some help with something with Zoom. Is there anything else to come before us?
I have a quick question, Mr. Mayor. Since we were talking about the vaccination and Mr. Gindi did say that it was going to be on April 20th, do we know how many appointments they're going to take? Do we know how many times or what type of vaccine they're giving? And I was just curious as to who on the Board of Health you also spoke to.
All right, well, to answer that question, I spoke to Allison.
Okay.
And to answer the other questions, it's going to be on the 20th. As you know, there is a limited amount. Right now, I'm looking at 500, and it's going to be the J&J vaccination.
Okay, so are they planning to do all 500 on one day?
It could actually be done on one day.
Okay.
Yes, the answer is yes.
And then you're saying the information to register will be on our borough website?
It'll be posted tomorrow morning, yes.
Okay, so then I'm only asking because like that, we can assist or help with anyone who needs assistance to register.
That's why I got 3 boards on helping me out with this too.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I covered all avenues from kids, which is the Parks and Rec. Lakeisha and Jason Oliveira is going to help out with the kids, to Office of Aging, seniors, and then you got obviously Allison helping out with the Board of Health.
Okay.
One last question through chat came up. Are the EDC meeting on Zoom, and are they open to the public?
I would assume so. They'll be posted once they're all organized and they actually set up a scheduled meeting dates. That would be posted on the borough website.
So yes, okay then. Somebody had asked that through chat. So
okay.
All right then. Is there anything else? We've had so much fun here. We'll do this again in 3 weeks.
Motion to close.
Second.
Motion to adjourn by Mr. Gindi, seconded by Mr. Sula. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All against? The ayes have it. We stand adjourned.
Good night.